I just want to ask you, and actually Liam, because Liam knows the player concerned. Yesterday in Germany, Jogi Löw addressed the press to give. There was a big press conference called to give an explanation for, or his explanation for Germany's poor performance at the World Cup, and also the subject of Mesut Ozil came up, and his decision not to play for Germany again because he felt he had been racially discriminated against. That was a big story yesterday in Germany. First of all, what was Löw's explanation for the performance?
Well, his explanation was that they went into the World Cup. They won all 10 qualifiers, and he thought he can win the World Cup or retain the World Cup by playing possession football. He said he probably, underrated the possibility that the teams will sit back against them. They have to be very patient, and at times when the game opens up, they need to play on the counter-attack, and they need to move forward quicker. I think that's why he left Leroy Sané at home, which was a very surprising move for the whole of football Germany, because he was really the one player who's got that pace to create a different picture on the field. Then he says that there was a hint of arrogance going into the World Cup because they were planning with hotel selection. They were planning the tournament backwards, so they would look, where's the final, where's the semi-final if we do win the group, and that's how they picked the hotels. That's why they stayed near Moscow, because the semi-final would have played in Moscow. So I think, he says a hint of complacency, arrogance, and I was quite surprised that the German FA made a decision on him so quick after the World Cup, saying he will stay. He thinks he can bring the team forward again. But my biggest worry is that a lot of the young players who won the Confederations Cup the year before said after the World Cup, obviously anonymously, that the treatment for the World Cup winners 4 years ago was different and better. They got preferred treatment to the young players coming through, and he just didn't manage to bring these kind of two squads together, because 10 players missed in the Confederations Cup. They obviously went to the World Cup, and he never managed to bring these two groups together. And the young players who were complaining about the treatment, they will be the future. They'll be the players you've got to rely on now for the next 4 or 5 years. So, he gave an explanation that the public didn't take it too well. They said there was a lot of talk because it went on for 2 hours, but actually he said very little. And the only player not in the squad for the upcoming game against France is Khedira. He spoke to him, so that was his explanation. Coming back to Ozil, he tried to contact him. I think on Facebook he made a statement a few weeks ago that he retires from international football. Jogi Löw said yesterday he tried to contact him by text and by call for the last 2 weeks, and he wouldn't answer his call, which is very disappointing. And I think it puts Ozil, who I defended a lot in recent weeks and months, in a different light, because I think a manager you win the World Cup with deserves the respect. You tell him personally that you're not going to be available for selection again. And especially now with what's happening with Ozil now at Arsenal, I think I don't think he's been very well supported and advised Mesut Ozil in the last few months.
Okay, can I just put it to you, Didi, that Ozil has said that there wasn't racism in the team. He said there seemed to be in the federation, German Football Federation. In other words, it was institutional. That's what his feeling was. And that's quite a heavy charge to make, isn't it?
No, it is. And I think Oliver Bierhoff spoke yesterday. He said there's never been any racism. And if he felt that way, then obviously that's his take. But I think his comments went back to when he did make that photo with Erdogan, with Ilkay Gündogan and Erdogan, the Turkish president, that the German president, Grindel, apparently wanted him not to go to the World Cup. And 1 or 2 sponsors took him off their advertisement for the World Cup. I think the biggest one was Merck, Mercedes-Benz. They had a They had advertisements prepared for the World Cup with 4 or 5 players, and they decided after these photos to take him off these billboards and replace him with another player. I think that's why he claims there's been racism in the federation. But I can categorically say, obviously, I've been part of the federation for 10, 15 years. I'd be very surprised if his claims were anywhere near true.
Yes, and of course, we should point out that Gundogan and Ozil are both German-born of Turkish extraction.